Hello all. My name is Aiden. I'm the creator of the YouTube channel that you may or may not have watched. A1A Man Car Repairs. I'm kind of, this is all off the cusp by the way, but I'm kind of coming on here because I didn't feel like typing it up on my website to inform you all of a rebrand that I'm doing. And recently, I'm sure you've all heard about AI and the implications and the effects of it. And I personally am not a fan of where AI is headed and what it's going to bring. Yes, will it bring a lot of good? Absolutely. But at the same time, it's going to lead to massive job displacement, massive environmental issues, massive just crises altogether. And the worst part is these major tech companies that are building AI are receiving massive tax credits to do it that we, the taxpayer, end up paying for so that their AI products can replace us as workers. So anyway, I want to open with that. And the reason why I tell you all this is because I'm going to let this video serve as an introduction to the purpose of this channel now. And the way I see it is one of the ways us, the regular Joes of the world, can get back at these major companies, these major tech companies, these major car companies, all these very large, influential companies that are selling us crap, probably using AI to make it instead of a human, cutting costs and selling us crap, is by quitting purchasing from them. And my specialty, away from a few other things that I'll get to shortly, is car repairs. I absolutely love car repairs. And I'm watching my passion slowly getting taken away from me as companies move to intertwine vehicles with more technology, right? We're already seeing, take John Deere for instance. They sell, I watched a great Business Insider video about how they sell software. Well, I say, you get a computer, you get a tractor with your computer, that kind of stuff. But they sell everything that the farmer can do to potentially replace or repair or diagnose the equipment is hidden behind a software that they have to call engineers and specialists from other states to look at, and it costs thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars for something that could have probably been fixed by the farmer himself. So we're seeing that in the agricultural and heavy equipment world, but we're also seeing it get intertwined in, the automotive world. And I personally have never been a proponent of buying new cars. In fact, I hate new cars. And I think the reason why these companies continue to sell us such crap is because people continue to buy. And I admit, I'm in the stock market. I love seeing growth. But I don't like seeing growth at the expense of our futures. And there's some things that are almost debatable that you can get around. But AI is not one of them. And seeing all this growth in AI is really trifling to me. And it makes me incredibly angry. I have a note card here with some facts on AI that I'll get to later. But I think one of the ways we can get back at companies is by basically stop buying stuff. And one of the areas that I want to try to get my viewers, as small or large it may become, interested in is repairing their cars. Now, I have moved from the car repair world, which is something I started in, into more of the motorcycle world, because on my budget, it's a lot more affordable. And I can work on multiple projects and not spend near as much money as I've done cars. But I have done a few cars. I've restored an older Mustang and a 2001 Mustang on top of that. Other cars, Miatas and whatnot. And I didn't film a lot of it just due to sheer laziness. But I did work for a very long time in the car world. Now I'm kind of transitioning to the motorcycle world. And you're going to say, oh, you're only 21, Eddie, you haven't worked that long. And yeah, you're exactly right. I have not worked that long. But for me, I've spent a considerable amount of time in the automotive world to be able to have a basic grasp over every car, before a certain year model, definitely, right? You get too far into the 2020s and everything is, once again, hidden behind a software. So before that, when things were more mechanical, at least, and less software embedded and controlled, I have a much better understanding of. And I often do car repairs for other people, mechanical repairs, but even on newer cars and older cars alike, what you'll notice is most of the work that typically needs to be done is mechanical. Very little. I've only had to reprogram a few ECMs. Really get into the software stuff a few times on older cars. So typically, a lot of the times with older cars, you can kind of not have to have great electrical understanding or software understanding and be just fine. But I want to try to convey my knowledge to you all about the automotive and both motorcycle world as a way to maybe at least do my part in getting back at these corporate overlords that we have that control everything, right? Because the only reason why they sell it is because people buy it, right? People are going out to this day getting 84-month loans on crap GMC cars and Grand Wagoneers and just terrible cars that they're never going to pay off and getting an endless debt. And I get it. It is hard for a lot of people to find the time to learn these skills. But if you're younger or you do have the time or you're halfway interested, this hopefully is going to be a channel for you to start. Another big concept I want to convey early on before getting into the weeds, like I said, this is just an introductory video, so don't feel like you have to watch it. But another concept I really want to push to you all is understanding the technology in automotives, in vehicles. Understanding that technology so you know what to avoid. I personally, as much hate as I get for it, love carbureted systems. Okay? I love it. And it is for one reason and one reason only. Not because they're more efficient or easier to work on or any of that. It's because you cannot be controlled with one. You have total access to work on a carburetor without a software telling you what you can or cannot do. Now, there's a lot of benefits. It's much easier to work on once you understand it. It's a lot cheaper. It's definitely not more efficient if you don't tune it right, but at least you have the ability to tune it. So I'm all about people having the right to do as they please with what they have bought. And as we continue to see more software embedded and electronics embedded in vehicles, it's going to be taking a lot of that ability away from the people. I've seen mopeds with fuel injection in them now. Why do you need fuel injection in a moped? It's crazy. But besides all that, I want to educate you all about the technology in cars so you can understand what to avoid. Now, I don't expect you to go out and get a carbureted car because you're not going to find that. Now, with motorcycles, I tell everybody avoid the fuel injection motorcycles because as soon as it goes bad, you might as well just take it to the junker, right? Especially if it's a major issue, or because especially on motorcycles, fuel injection components can get very, very expensive very, very quickly. I love carbureted on motorcycles. So one of my main purposes here is to inform you all about the technology and inform you all about how to do certain things on a vehicle. Also, I want to, on top of informing you about the technology in cars, I want to give you some, I also want to be able to help you learn how to actually do repairs and be here to help diagnose and give at least my thought process about how to diagnose cars. And on a little sidetrack here, I also want to make clear, AI can also be used as a tool in your diagnostic process. It is something I have started using, but you will learn very soon it is wrong most of the time. When it comes to the automotive sector and having it diagnose stuff, it is wrong 99% of the time. I asked it on my DR200 I have sitting out here, and I have that as a daily driver motorcycle because it is cheap to drive. I don't have incredibly far to drive. I'm mostly in city, a little bit of long distance travel, but I'm mostly in city. It's fun, it's cheap, has a carburetor, and everything on it I can repair. I don't have to take it anywhere. I don't have to have an app or have a Bluetooth connection or something to work on my own vehicle. But anyway, I asked ChatGPT just out of curiosity, hey, ChatGPT, why does Suzuki call for 2 acorn nuts and 2 flange washers, or excuse me, not washers, flange nuts for the head studs. And it was like, oh, it's for aesthetic reasons. So I'm like, okay, well, there's obviously no need for 2 acorn nuts. Just run all flange nuts. And it turns out that the acorn nuts were because the head studs themselves shared oil passages, and the head studs, I mean the acorn studs were meant to seal the oil passage and keep oil. So I was driving down the road having oil all over my pants because I trusted ChatGPT. It is great for giving you examples of things and maybe giving you a bit more information on something you may not know, but also that's just a Google search. So ChatGPT, once again, has shown it is not very good with problem solving, in my opinion. And another reason why I'll get to AI in a little bit later. But anyway, away from the diagnosing thought process, basic car information, and then also technology in cars, I also want, and this is the end goal of this channel, is to get to a point where I can explain to you all how can we take a car and get rid of all the software crap and go back to carburetor and CDI. I don't know if it's possible, but it is something I'm going to continue to look into. I know how to get you to a carburetor. That's really easy. It's the ignition side of things that's a bit more difficult. And so then you ask, Aiden, well, how do you know any of this stuff, man? What do you do? You just what do you do? Well, I'm actually an electrical engineering student. So I have a focus in power, but I have kept a good amount of understanding and taken a lot of classes in analog circuit and digital circuit design. I don't have as much understanding as I do in power systems, but I do have a decent amount of understanding to where additional research can supplement these electrical questions that you have and that I definitely have about creating CDI boxes. So you ask me, what is a CDI box? Just really quickly, it's a capacitor discharge ignition system. The reason why I like CDI a lot is because if done right, it can be used as a dynamic system, meaning for our intents and purposes, the spark can be advanced and retarded as necessary. So, bit of information. As the flywheel is spinning, as the engine is spinning, and RPMs increase, typically to continue to get maximum power output and have efficient combustion, you want to advance the spark as the piston itself moves a bit faster. So it is it's a challenging question to figure out, especially when you move away from 1-cylinder engines, but to 2, 4, 8, 6-cylinder engines. How do we get a CDI box that will work for that? But that is questions for a later day when I understand a little bit more and have the time to research it. But at least getting away and also analyzing, another thing we want to do is analyze CDI box topology so we can better understand how it works. And what the end goal of this is being able to repair the ignition system of cars. And then from there, be actually able to take a car and get rid of all the software crap and get rid of all the stuff that is used to control you. Make it so you have to take it to a dealership or take it to a shop to figure out and fix. We want to get rid of that and make it so you can fix it. Or you can choose the shop you want to take it to fix it. And that's one of the ways we get back at the automotive company. If we show them, hey, look, we don't want to buy crap. We don't want to buy tech-infused crap that forces us to pay a subscription so we can have heated seats. We don't want that. So I want to kind of transition away from what the purpose of this channel is to my main driving motivation. And I mentioned this in the beginning, that is AI. So, a few facts. I don't really care what you think about AI, but I'm going to tell you, the people who control AI right now do not have your best interest in hand. I believe Alex Karp or Peter Thiel, one of the two, the one in charge of Palantir, which I did have stock ownership in. I'm not going to lie, I did have stock ownership in Palantir. But one of the two said they do not care if the human race endures, or, intended to say they do not care if the human race endures. These technocrats, these CEOs of these tech companies do not, let me make this clear, do not have your best interests in mind. And that is a bit trifling. And it makes me angry. Because we are now dealing with a technology that could potentially outpace humanity. Right? And the worst part is, we're the ones paying for it in both the long term and the short term. Because here's the deal, these data centers that they're building, are a water waste, an electricity waste, and a land waste. And they're putting these data centers in communities where people live, and people go to school, and people go to the picnic, and they're putting them flat down in the middle of it. And they're just wrecking these communities. And when they put it, in the middle of nowhere to, get back, to beat the concerns about disrupting people's lives, well, now they're taking water away from areas that may need it. Or they're taking land away from the farmers. They're taking electricity away from you and me, and then making our prices higher. Why they get tax credits to build them in the first place. I say this all the time. If a county commissioner or a politician likes data centers, that's only because they're being funded by it. And this is not like big oil or big plastic or any of the other giants out there that we've seen. Because I'll tell you right now, oil refineries don't make better oil refineries. Nuclear bombs don't make better nuclear bombs. AI makes better AI. I believe Jeffrey Hilton, the godfather of AI, estimated between a 10 and 20% of human extinction due to these. That is mind-boggling to me. I mean, we are dealing with, I don't want to say conscious, but we are dealing with the closest piece of technology that has ever come to the human brain. And it's scary. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's scary. So to get back at AI, what can we do? And I don't know. I have no idea what you can do. Because it ain't taking your money out of the stock market. I'll tell you that. It's not going to do anything. And it's dang sure not calling your representative. Because they don't care. Right? They're making a check. They're cutting a check. And it seems like both Democrats and Republicans are on the same side about this. And I really don't want to get political. I'm going to avoid getting political. But whether your representative is a Democrat or Republican doesn't change the fact that they support AI still, and that people are supporting AI. And our politicians, the people that represent us, are supporting AI. So, to be frank, I don't know what to do about AI, like I mentioned before. And our politicians obviously don't care. But there are smaller things that you and I can do that can at least make it hurt for now for these companies. And hopefully, by some miracle, AI does have a plateau. And Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg and all the other tech bros and technocrats out there are all wrong. And they were all just doing it for investor hype, like the dot-com bubble. Hopefully, that's the case. Because if it's not, we're all going to be paying the price somehow. They're not. Mark Zuckerberg has a bunker in Hawaii. I don't. You don't. So, what do we do? I don't know what we do. But what I can do, and hopefully help you all do, is learn something. Learn something that is going to affect one niche area of this whole AI revolution, bottom line. And that is potentially getting people to, number one, stop buying, and number two, start repairing. Because that is what these companies don't want people doing. They want you buying. They want you paying a subscription service so you can have heated seats. They want that. So if we find a way to impact their bottom line, what does that tell them? That maybe tells them, hey, the common man is not, maybe we aren't to be messed with. So whether it helps or not, it also proves to people I do something outside of school. So I would love to be able to showcase to you all what I do and kind of the process that I have. And the next big thing is a lot of people are going to say, well, Ian, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money. And those are completely valid things. But I want to ask you, would you rather be spending, on the money standpoint, would you rather be going into debt so you can pay Ford or Chevy, their technicians, to do work for you? Or would you rather go into debt to get tools or to get experience about something, right? That's what I want to ask you. Would you rather go into debt for one of those things? And a lot of car repair work is actually preventative maintenance. So you're not driving to work one day and you get a flat tire, or you're not going to wherever you have to be and your head gasket blows. A lot of it is preventative maintenance to prevent that in the first place, so you're never caught in a situation where you're reliant on a dealership or on an independent mechanic, which I don't have as big a problem with independent mechanics as I do with dealerships. But still, I want to make it clear that I am for the person repairing their car instead of the anybody else. You know, I'm all for people having these skills. So, you know, I want to convey to you all information. And then about the time. The time was the other big thing. And how do you find the time? And my answer to that is, don't sleep. I don't. And I'm younger. I mean, I can handle it, but I don't sleep. You know, I'm out every single day. You know, maybe I get 5 hours of sleep. You know, I wake up at 6. I work on a project. I work on something. I go to school. You know, there I'm studying away till maybe 8 or 9 at night. Come home, study a little bit more, independent study till midnight, fall asleep, wake up at 6. You know, do that every single day, Saturdays, Sundays, when I have days off, when I'm not working, you know, at a job as well. When I'm not working at a job, I find time in between there. So I do have a little bit more money, and I do have a little bit more time than most, which gives me the ability to do independent projects and work on things independently and go outside of just basic repair. But you have to find the time. And it might be easy for me to say it, but I'm right there with you. I get 5-6 hours of sleep a night, and every single night. So you can find the time, right? But even if you don't have the time, it would be nice to understand these concepts so that if you do have the time or you do catch a break, you can take on these roles and do these repairs to this preventative maintenance, so you never have to be dependent on somebody else, right? So I have seen a lot of people just have no understanding of what goes on under the hood. And I'm not going to lie, it's hard. If you got a brand new Mercedes-Benz, you know, brand new, or you got a brand new Ford F-150, man, it's hard to know what's going underneath the hood. But if you have a 2012 or 2006 Toyota Corolla, you should know everything about the operation of that car. Those are simple, nothing to them. I used to joke about I could pull an engine in like less than 3 hours, man. That might be slow for a lot of you more experienced techs, but on some of those cars, man, I could have an engine out so fast it wasn't even funny. On my DR200 over here, I mean, it's a dirt bike, you'd have an engine out in 30 minutes. You know? So another part of it is when you are going to purchase a car, buying a car that is easily maintainable, or even at that, I'm even pushing for people to go to motorcycles now, because they are 100 times more maintainable and so much cheaper to drive. Yeah, it sucks when you're in the rain, and there's a lot of risk associated with it, but if you keep your head on a swivel, most of the time you'll be fine. But that's a debate for another day. But a lot of it is for at least people who want to only stay in cars, you know, looking for, you know, you can either take out a loan for a Grand Wagoneer, or you can maybe get something a little bit older, or even if you are you get something a bit more reliable, you know. But I tell people, I'm like, dude, I wouldn't buy a brand new car, if you forced me to. I wouldn't do it. I don't care if I had all the money in the world, I still wouldn't buy a brand new car, because that's your dignity right there. Just take it away from you, because you are now beholden to the man. You're beholden to a mechanic. You're beholden to a dealership. You know, Henry Ford wanted the first car, the Model T, or his first car at least, to be able to be maintained by the common American with basic tools, man. And nowadays, the common American couldn't tell me what the head gasket does. So it's a problem that must be resolved. And I think that if you can resolve this problem, this lack of understanding in something as rudimentary as automobiles, you can start to resolve this understanding in other areas. If people are more dependent on themselves than the services that, businesses provide, I think it would be a better world. Now, yeah, you are going to be dependent on the part services. I'm not going to lie to you there, but there's only so far you can go. I don't expect everybody to have a machine shop, be able to make their own this and that. But you can beat the man by not buying or going to the dealership. You can beat these companies by not buying the latest and greatest and buying used from a mom and pop, buying used or buying a fixer-upper, And unfortunately, marketing has really destroyed this country in making everybody believe that they have to keep up with the Joneses. But there is a lot of pride in ownership. I would much rather have a 1998 beat-up Honda Civic with a missing radio with 20 grand in the bank than a brand new GMC with nothing in the bank and in debt. So you can find the time. If you don't have the money, well, you're going to spend it either at a dealership or you're going to spend it getting tools, so that's no excuse. So it's important for people who are able to do it, and people who aren't able to do it, to get involved, and to begin to understand the concepts, the technology, and then from that, when I understand it, how do we actually get away from how do we reverse engineer and build our own things? So now we're dependent on no one. And hopefully AI doesn't wipe us out by then. Right? And you also want to become dependent because as AI gets more advanced, I know I'm kind of backtracking AI now and I got to end this video, but as AI gets more advanced and more sophisticated, that $40,000 a year job you may have right now, man, that's gone because AI can do that. It might be worse than you, but it can do it. And a company saves money on you. The man saves money by getting rid of you. So you want to be able to be self-sufficient so you're not going in debt for even the most basic of services, right? And as long as we stop buying the stuff that these companies are selling us, we will see, the prices fall. And hopefully the companies will listen to us because they're dang sure aren't listening to us now. Anyhow, I know this video has went on for way too long, and I'm planning on ending it right here. But one last thing is I want to just give you, the next video I'm going to post is going to be a basic update of tools. A lot of people don't know what tools are anymore. They couldn't tell me the difference between a socket wrench and a regular wrench, man. It's people don't understand tools anymore. So I want to give you all a quick run through of the tools that I think you should own. And you don't need to go buy Milwaukee tools. Let me make that clear. You don't need the best of the best brands. Go straight to Harbor Freight and get that $6 Pittsburgh ratchet. That's what I got right here. Pittsburgh ratchet. Bought it like 6 years ago, man. It still works perfectly. So you don't need Milwaukee everything, right? Let that for the pros who do this stuff every single day. Who have invested the time and invested the money, and let them buy the Milwaukee stuff. That's who Milwaukee's making the tools for, not for you. You go to Harbor Freight, you buy that Pittsburgh, you buy that Craftsman wrench, that Duralast, you buy that stuff. You don't need Milwaukee. You don't need to bust out $30 on a socket wrench. You don't need that, man. So tools, I want to go through tools, what every mechanic, not mechanic, but what every at-home mechanic should have, right? To do basic stuff. Oil changes, transmission fluid changes, excuse me. We're not quite at the transmission change part yet, but transmission fluid changes. Basic service, basic greasing, all that stuff, especially to wrench on motorcycles. I got some motorcycles, I got a car that I'll show you the tools that I would recommend on. So the next big video is going to be on tools. What tools do you need? And until I make some more money, because let me tell you, I haven't sold enough stuff to make money yet. But once I make some more money, I can invest in better equipment. But until then, we're going to do the duct tape around the phone around the chest and record like that. But tools are the next big thing. I hope I get that video out ASAP. I'm going to try to upload at least weekly, if not once every 2 weeks. And I do have a website too. I'll drop the link for that website in the description. Right now it's showcasing projects, and I'll admit it's a little cringy. So don't look at it too in depth and don't judge me too much for it, because I'm going to change that to more of a blog to update you all. You know, you don't watch the video. You don't want to watch the video. You just want the quick recap. I can put that in the website and you can just read it real quick. Hell, you can put it in ChatGPT and have it read it. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But have you all take a look at it and or read it at least and understand the basic concepts that I was trying to get through for tools. And a lot of understanding cars is just being familiar with the parts. Because I'll tell you, you know, human puts it together. It's not like a human can't take it apart and put it back together. So it's not like they're these foreign material or foreign objects or something. It's very simple once you get to the, I mean, some are, don't get me wrong, some aren't, but most of them are very simple. Most affordable cars are very simple. So anyway, tools are coming out next, and then from there we'll go deeper and deeper into the repair world, and I'll keep you updated on the repairs that I'm doing. You can even do auto body work. I've gotten into auto body now, and I love paint work. It is hard. You do need space for it, but it is very fulfilling and very rewarding. But yeah, you don't need a shop. You don't need expensive tools. You can do this. You keep a small toolbox in your house or in your apartment, wherever you live, and you can do this. I got this. I was very fortunate at my parents' house. They have they recently invested in a camper, and they gave me a few extra feet on both sides to store at least all my tools and a lot of stuff from inside. We were able to move here. So I got very fortunate with that. But I started working out of a garden shed, man. Just you know, tinkering away during COVID on small engines, and that's how I got my start. And I've learned a lot, and I hope to convey you all some of that knowledge. Thank you all for watching. Keep you all updated. I would love for you guys to hit that subscribe button. Call your representatives, call your politicians, call your senators. Let them know that you dislike AI. Get that out there. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you should not support AI unless you're making money off of it, which I know you're not making money off of it, because I'm not. And I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm not making any money. So you guys aren't making money off of it either. There's no reason why you guys should be supporting it, unless you want humanity to be wiped off the face of the earth, or they're paying you off, which I doubt they are. So I'll keep you guys updated. Got a lot of projects. Next video is going to be tools. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, share to your friends, get the word out there. Thank you all. I'll see you guys all next video.